joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I thought, it would be nice to get to know a few of our female entrepreneurs out there. And that's why I hit you up and I was like, please come and join me. So I'm really grateful that you have.
Thank you for having me.
So I've got a few questions, but before we get into the questions, I've got one question to ask you. Well, it is a question. I've got one question to ask you.
Okay.
What's your signature dance move?
Oh, girl.
And I know you've got a few of them.
Do you know what? I like dancing. So any kind of Afrobeats dance move. If I had to choose one, I'd take Bessie at the moment because I'm trying to set my...
That's the dance move that's reigning.
It is, exactly. It's in vogue, as our parents would say. In vogue.
So, tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you? Everything like that.
Okay, so my name is Deborah. I am a woman of color in business. So I actually have like two hats, I guess. I have a day job, so I have a career. I am a management consultant. I currently run the change function for a team and area within a global management consulting firm. So that's my day job. It's like change management, looking after transformation for a lot of our clients. But I'm actually on maternity leave at the moment because I have a 3-month-old daughter. Outside of that, though, my passion is colour celebration, and that's how Jennifer and I Hanifa we met. But I run a luxury gifting company for babies of colour. So currently specialising in milestone cards. If you check my profile, you'll see lots of cute babies with their pictures and their milestone cards. But I create milestone cards for Black and mixed ethnicity babies to help them celebrate, honour, and really share with the world their beautiful milestones as they're developing, all their milestones that they hit in their first year. There. So hi, I can see people joining. Toby, hey Linda.
This is where me and you met. We both broke our panel speaking virginity.
We did,
and that was good. And yeah, you just the vibes. So we've kept in contact since. But yeah.
It's been a year, babe.
You though.
Pardon?
And it's been lovely to know you so far.
I know you too. I can't believe it's been a year. It's been a year, with that panel.
Yes, it has. And you have grown like tremendously. Wow, like the way that you've grown since that time that we met. It has been a lot of growth.
Thank God.
How did the business idea come about?
So it came about when I had my first son, or my first child, my son. And he was about the same age, actually, about 3 months old. So we were going through lots of milestones, and we had a very popular set. And it was one milestone card in particular. It was like my first smile, and the card itself had a picture of like a Caucasian baby, basically, with like light colored hair and blue eyes. And I just felt really conflicted. I don't know. I just felt really conflicted to take the picture. I wanted to mark the milestone, but I was like, gosh, my son doesn't look anything like this, this picture on this milestone card. So this is just really weird. So I just, as you do while you're feeding the baby in the middle of the night, I went online thinking, I'm sure someone's got a card that will reflect what my baby looks like, so I can just buy that. And I researched and couldn't find anything. And I was just perplexed. I thought, this is weird. So I asked some of my friends if any of them had come across anything like that, and they all said no. And that's really how the idea started. It was birthed literally in the middle of a breastfeeding session in the middle of the night. And I thought, I think I probably need to do something about it, more just out of necessity, because I really didn't want my son to have to experience that or look back on those memories and think, oh, this is cute, mom, but yeah, this doesn't really look anything like me. And as a parent to a young Black child, especially in this climate, I just thought it's really important for us to instill from as early as their newborn infancy, just pride in self, pride in who you are, your culture, your religion, your beliefs, just everything. So that's really how the idea started, and it kind of grew from there.
How did you start to build a customer base?
How do I build a customer base? So I was really fortunate, actually. When I gave birth in 2017, a whole ton of my friends gave birth around the same time as well. So they were like my kind of control group, so to speak. They were like my sort of guinea pigs. And I talked to them about it. I did lots of customer research with them. Lots of them are really kind enough to help me promote the product. And by the way, like, you need to get friends who don't just believe in you, but also invest in you, because I didn't give these out, the cards, when they were first produced. They actually all bought them, which was just such a blessing. So they bought the cards, they bought into the business, and they helped to start promote the idea, start promote the cards. You know, they were sharing them on social media. Some of them were buying them for their friends. And so it kind of just grew really organically, where people were like, oh gosh, I wish I had that when my baby was born. And my response to that was, well, you know, it's a shame it's passed for your child, but hey, gift another mother, because you don't want someone else to go through what you went through, or not have these cards when you wished you had them. And it kind of grew from there. And then I started doing like little exhibitions, going to events, taking the cards with me just to show people and, you know, see what they thought about it. And thankfully, they were received really well. And so, you know, kind of gained traction from there.
Yeah. So let's talk about the branding of your business for a moment,
yeah.
right? So remember when I first met you, your branding was totally different to what it is now, right? So what inspired that change?
So when I started, so I guess a bit of background. I've done a few different like businessy things. Like I have a jewelry line. I used to dabble and sell bits and bobs here and there, and they're always just kind of like side projects. But with this particular one, with Colour Celebrations, and it was formerly known as Baby of Colour Milestones, it was something that I was genuinely passionate about, and it was born out of necessity. So when I started it, I immediately just thought, I really want to take this seriously. I registered the business, you know, it became a company. And I went to lots of like talks or workshops, or spoke to business people that I thought I could learn and gain help from. And there was one person in particular, a lady called Jessica Huey, who some of you may know. She is an amazing woman. She's like a PR guru, and she's also got an MBE for the work and services she's done for her her card line, colorblind cards. And it's kind of similar concept, you know, greeting cards for people of color. Anyway, so I was very lucky, and I had lunch with her, and I showed her the product just to get some insight. And she was like, these are good, and people will buy into it because they like it, they want it, you know, it's a good social message, but these aren't like the lick, you know, these aren't like, you know, as great as they can. You can take this, make it better. So I held on to that. And then I also went on to the there was a Virgin like accelerator course, basically, for like women in business, and I went on that as well. And that was like 2 days of just mind-blowing commercial business branding expertise just thrown at you. And in those 2 days I thought, right, I can do better. So I came up with a new name, and I started thinking about rebranding, because I wanted it to be a product that people not just bought into because they liked it, they wanted to support me, but they genuinely, you know, looked good, were clean, were great, and the branding had to follow suit. And so that's where it was born. And from there, Instagram is amazing, right? So all the people that I worked with to rebrand the cards, to move from Baby of Colour Milestones to Colour Celebrations, I found every single person online. The illustrators I used, the branding experts I used, and they were all women. Some either women of color, like Black women, mixed race women, or parents, fellow families, like families, mothers like myself, stay-at-home moms, freelancers. And so it was just amazing, because everyone I worked with I could relate to, and they could subscribe and, you know, key into what I was trying to achieve. So it was fantastic. I worked with an amazing branding expert, Frankie, Autora Design. She was amazing, and she really brought my vision to life. So that's how that came about. I'm really happy with the outcome. I think it looks pretty cool.
I think, like you said, what your branding is now just speaks luxury.
Honey, yeah. and that's what it's all about, right? You know, you want it to really bring to life.
And you look at when you look at your logo, you immediately understand the concept without even looking at the product.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done, girl. Well done.
Thank you.
What has been the most satisfying moment in your business?
Satisfying. Do you know, I get satisfaction from so many different things. I think if I had to pinpoint it to one thing, it would be the BBBA Awards, so the Black British Business Awards, last year. And the reason that was satisfying for me was I attended the like launch event probably about this time last year, right? And bearing in mind, this time last year, it was still Baby of Colour Milestones. I was still skinny because I wasn't pregnant yet, you know. And I just went just to like go. I met a lot. Hey, I can see Rachel here as well. We were there. We went there. We just like heard about the awards, and then someone nominated me, and just seeing how it all developed, you know, going to the different panels, the different judging levels, stages, and actually counted worthy being at the same table, being considered amongst some amazing, fantastic businessmen and women in Britain was just mind blowing. And the fact that I got to the finals, I mean, I didn't win, but I was a finalist. And that really for me was just, I think that was the shift I needed, because for the longest time I had like imposter syndrome. I secretly didn't really believe in myself. I thought, oh, this is good, but you know, oh, it's just a little thing, you know, it's kind of like crap in comparison to other things. At the end of that, you know, in October 2019, when I was a finalist and I was sat in that room and my name and my video was up on that screen with hundreds of other great alongside other finalists and in front of hundreds of amazing businessmen and women in Britain, I just thought, wow, you've really come a long way. But that's probably the one big fat one. But just, you know what, when people DM me, send me pictures of their babies, their inspirational stories, like I'm really able to connect with a lot of parents and mothers in particular who have a story behind the card as well, or what happened when they were buying the card, or how maybe being able to take that card brought them hope. You know, people who maybe struggled with fertility issues, or babies that were in ICU. There was a mother who messaged me and told me about her baby. It was just so heartwarming and so inspirational. And that is, I think that's my raison d'etre as well, because it's bringing pride, it's bringing joy, it's bringing awareness, it's bringing people together. That is the whole point of why I do what I do. So those are also like really heartwarming moments for me as well, I think.
I can imagine. And you know what, just as you were speaking, I was thinking to myself, that should also be an extension on your business. Like the women that send you the stories, featuring them on your website, or just so that if with other, that
you know, you've hit the nail on
really...
the head there. Absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head there, because it's something that I've been meaning to do. I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, when I was pregnant last year, it was just, I mean, I was doing like a million things at once. So pregnant, working, toddler, married, life, cooking, cleaning, all of that stuff. But absolutely, I've got a whole host of mums lined up to have their stories featured. But honestly, you've hit the nail on the head. It's such a great idea. And so if there's anyone actually who is watching this at the moment who has a story they want to share, please DM me. I am not a stranger. Get into the DMs. Let's talk. Let's chat. Because I really, such a great idea. I definitely would love to feature those stories both on the Instagram and on the website as well.
Absolutely. And we're here for that. We're here for that. We are. So obviously you said before that you got a 9 to 5, which you're in maternity leave from, and also your business. So describe a typical day in your life with running business and working your 9 to 5 with the kids and everything else.
Oh, girl. So my sister, that is a very good question. So do you know what? There wasn't like any one day that's exactly the same. My job, prior to going on maternity leave, also involved a lot of travel. So, you know, some days London, some days I'm in Leeds. That's where quite a lot of my team and the service centre I work with are based, but they're also based in Scotland, India, the US. My clients are all over the world. So, I mean, if I was to describe a typical day where like I'm in the UK, I'm not traveling, everyone wakes up early. My husband is incredible. He's really hands-on, thankfully. So, and this is prior to having a baby, because obviously I've not been working since the baby came, but one of us would get my son ready, and maybe I would take him to nursery. I'd then go to work. It's like I try not to mix the two together. So when I'm working, it's full on like work, you know, delivering for my clients, getting things done. However, I optimize every moment that I get that's free, that's mine. So my lunch break, the journey into the office, and I'll do like my Instagram posts, or maybe I'll use like Plannerly and prepare stuff so I can just, you know, hit post and they go out, or they'll auto schedule. On my lunch break, I'll run orders to the post office, or respond to DMs on Instagram, or have a look at which orders need to be filled that evening. And then when I get back home, really it's leaving at 5 o'clock on the dot to go and pick up my son. Like after picking my son up from nursery, I'll leave early to make sure I get him, and then I'll pick him up from nursery, then dinner, and I try and spend like all the time I can with him until he goes to bed. And that'll be the same once my daughter Kiki I go back to work and she's at nursery. Spending that time with them is invaluable because we don't really get that much time after work. Oh no, don't cry. And then bath, bed, and then probably work again until bedtime. And once my husband's back, then we'll spend some time hey, this is what I knew was going to happen. We'll spend some time together before we then go to bed and do it all again the next day. Hey.
And such is life.
Such is life, exactly.
Who has been your biggest inspiration on your journey so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. Do you know, I'm inspired by all the mums that I meet, really. Again, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to do this whole motherhood journey alongside some fantastic women who I've known lots of them for years and years and years, but you learn so much more about yourself and others as well when you become a mum. And just seeing like how tenacious they are, seeing how loving they are, seeing how much they sacrifice, it encourages me, it inspires me a lot. I know some incredible women actually, like Vese, Toby, Janet, Rachel, she's here. Like, I'm probably not even speaking about all of them. Esther, just so many amazing women. I've known these women for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and just seeing what they do every single day. Lots of them have businesses as well, and they're just crushing it, you know. So they inspire me, probably, I'd say. And then also like my mom, she's incredible, but that goes without saying. I think everyone's mom is incredible, but my mom is a very, very, very special place in my heart. She's incredible. She inspires me as well. Yeah.
What did she think about your business when you first started it?
What did I think about it?
Your mum.
What
did your mum think about your business?
She kept saying, so my Nigerian name is, my Yoruba name is Tosi. Tosi, that your cards. It's so beautiful. You know, and then she told about someone who's had a baby. Why don't you send them one? Or, okay, can I buy one for them? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, mom. But she was just she was just really encouraged, really supportive. And yeah, I mean, I guess any parent really, they think anything their kid does is amazing. And my mum is no different, really. She really thought it was a great idea, and she'd always ask how I was doing and what the business was and how she might be able to help. So yeah, she just thought it was great. But I think all parents probably think what their kids
always ask what parents' perceptions of their business is, right? Because some of our parents don't even understand half of the things that we do.
Wow, this is it. My mom thought they were like cards. So that your cards, that your gifting cards. And why don't you, someone's birthday, why don't you buy for them? I'm like, that's bless her. But she tried. Eventually we got there, you know. And then also when things were going on with the awards and like the different exhibitions, she was amazing. Like she would come to my house, help me pack. You know, when I'm coming back from an exhibition, there was one I did in particular last year, and bless her, she came to my house afterwards to help me like unload the car. She's like, wow, you are doing such a great job. Tosi, you are wrong. You know, I was pregnant at the time. Wow, you are doing so well. You know, she'd come and in her own little way, you know, she'd help as well, even if it's helping pack orders or unload the car when I've come back from an exhibition, or making some food so that I don't have to worry about that night. Like, yeah, she's been amazing. She's been incredible.
So if you were to give someone advice on starting out their business, what would be your 5 top tips to them?
Okay, so the first tip would be just do it, just start. Like analysis paralysis stops a lot of people from just getting on and doing stuff, right? So I would say the first and foremost, is just to start, you know, whatever it is, whether it's registering your business, speaking to somebody about it, doing that first draft of whatever the product is, just start. That would be number one. Number two, try and do some research as well, and do your own research as well. Like, so what I have found, which is interesting, I'm always happy to help, but I have had a few people come to me and basically ask for the blueprint, like, oh, where did you manufacture, and how much did it cost, and who's your designer? And I'm always happy to give the information, and I always do. I'm very transparent, but there's a reason why I've done it the way I've done it, and the reason why it works for me, which may not be the right answer for you. So just try and do some research, which is steeped in information and is very much focused and tailored around what you're trying to do. So do your own research, just so you're confident in your decisions. Number three, do talk to people. So it kind of is a bit of an oxymoron against what I've just said, but do speak to others, because asking questions, there's nothing wrong with it. And also, it's only a silly person, I think, that doesn't ask questions. Like, we've spoken and you've helped me with lots of like little different bits, and you know, I've spoken to lots of other people who've helped me a lot with my journey. And so asking questions, you know, creating a bit of a fellowship with fellow businessmen and women is a great idea, and it always helps. Number four, probably be inspired as well. So I think people can generally and genuinely tell when you're passionate about what you're doing. If you're doing it just for money, it tends to come out in the wash. But if you're really inspired and there's a message behind, or a real drive behind what you're doing, it really shows. And I think that's what people can connect with and in. And number five, probably just have fun with it. Let your personality show. So I think when I first started Baby of Colour Milestones, at the beginning, I didn't want anyone to really know it was me. I really just wanted the focus to be on the product, and you know, this is what I'm doing, and I have a baby, so okay, fine, I'll put a few of his pictures out. And it was only when I really just let go a bit and just let loose and let my personality show, and you know, just showed a bit more about the woman behind the brand and the business, that things really kind of kicked off a bit, on certainly on social media. So just have fun with it, you know, let your personality shine through, engage with your friends, your customer base, because I think, again, that really makes it just a worthwhile journey. It just makes it really enjoyable and engaging for all involved, including yourself.
No, absolutely. So when you said that you was a little bit more private, you didn't really want to, what was the catalyst that led to you saying, well, no, I'm going to be more visible with my brand?
I think it's probably maybe just talking to my friends, or some self-reflection as well behind the scenes. So what I was putting out was very I wouldn't say it was corporate, but it was very like just focus, target. And I noticed that I wasn't getting very much engagement, which isn't, you know, anyone's desire for their business. And then it almost felt like I was being a false version of myself, because anyone who knows me, who has been with me or been around me in real life, knows that I'm like super silly. I like to crack silly jokes. I like to, you know, do accents, do funny voices, encourage people, and I'm just a bit wild. And I just thought, actually, surely some of that people can relate to. Surely I'm not the only one who's like this. So I think the catalyst was just, you know, again, one of the courses I went to was just about being your authentic self, you know, letting that show, and actually taking that and letting that be part of your business and your branding. And I thought, yeah, color celebrations, like, I'm colorful. I love celebrating. I love being joyous with people, you know, just being in celebration and fellowship with others. So I just thought, yeah, let me just try a thing. Let's see what happens. And I think I did like a picture with me and my son, and said, oh, hey, by the way, this is who's behind the brand. And it did quite well. So I thought, well, clearly
what they want.
Yeah, that's probably the track I need to go down. Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask you a few more questions and then we'll round it up. But if you write a book about yourself,
oh honey,
you call it?
Hey, what would I call this book? I don't even know. I would call it, I don't even know. The Life and Times of Deborah Nita. So that Deborah Nita is like my alter ego. Yeah, yes. Deborah Nita's like my nickname, not my alter, but my nickname.
All my actually, thinking about your vibe, that name actually just pulls you together.
Deborah Nita. Yeah, Deborah Nita. Yeah. So Deborah Nita, by the way, came about because I studied Spanish at school for like decades and lived in Spain for a while, worked in Spain, speak Spanish, obviously. So that's like my Spanish nickname, Deborah Nita. So yeah, probably call it The Life and Times of Deborah Nita. That would be it.
For us, please.
Pardon?
Say that in Spanish for us.
Si tenía que escribir un libro o un autobiografía, my Spanish is a bit rusty now, se llamaría La vida y los tiempos de Deborah Nita.
That sounds good. You know, send shivers down your spine.
Yeah. Maybe next time we can do like an Insta live Spanish class.
That would be good.
Why not?
And my last question to you would be, right?
Yes, why not?
My last question to you would be, when you get that office, what's the one thing that you'll make compulsory in your office for all your employees?
Oh, the one thing I'll make compulsory is everybody must bring their, it's hard to kind of like, okay, well, this is what I would make compulsory. You have to come in the door and leave with your authentic self, right? And it sounds a bit airy-fairy, like ethereal. But what I mean by that is we are all our best selves and we all produce our best when we are our authentic self. So when you're hired, it's because you're absolutely on brand, like you're fun, you're easygoing, you're colorful. And so I would encourage everyone to just be themselves. And I would do that. I'd incorporate it or ensure that it takes place by, you know, having a really relaxed environment, a very colorful environment, no airs or graces, no suits, lots of sweets, lots of color, lots of, you know, things to really encourage people to be themselves, lots of family pictures, bringing your family in, anything that's good you to be your authentic self and to really enjoy what you do. That would be the one principle I would enforce. Even if the word enforce is not on brand, I wouldn't enforce it. I would encourage everyone to bring their authentic
naturally, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's great. I think that's absolutely great. So one last question. In terms of like the kind of materials in terms of the kind of information we have out there, if you could name your 3 top either books or podcasts that you recommend what would they be?
Okay, so the first podcast I would recommend is one called How I Built This. It's hosted by a guy called Raz on NPR radio. Now I've been listening to that for years and really love it. It's like stories of different entrepreneurs and how they've come about their businesses. In particular that I listened to, well, there were 2 actually. There's one by Sarah Blakely, who's a lady who started Span. There's another one by, I've forgotten her name now, but the lady who runs Aiden and Anaïs, which is like a luxury muslin company. They do they do other products, but like baby muslins, baby bibs, baby products. And I remember at the beginning of my journey, I listened to that podcast in particular and I was like, gosh, if she can do it, I can do it. And it was just so encouraging. So that would be the first one. In terms of books, man, my life is like audio books now, to be honest with you. So another oh gosh, you want to say hello? Okay, come back then. Another one I would recommend is The Work by Wes Moore. And that's just another really inspirational story. It's about a man who, are you okay? It's about a man who was extremely gifted, very talented man, was in the military, went to like Oxford, and in the end high flying job, and then in the end decide all of that behind all that money and to go into like social enterprise, but doing something that he really was passionate about, and he knew was his calling and was his purpose, and he got so much fulfillment out of it. And it just takes you through like his life and times, the ups and the down journey. But I just thought that was like, that's a really good story. And I really enjoyed it. And it's very encouraging. It's inspired me on my journey. And the last one, it's not really a story. It's not really an autobiography. It's not polemic. Some may or may not like it, but it's by Rennie Edo Lodge, and it's called Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. And the reason I would encourage that is, when I was starting Colour Celebrations, when I was moving to transition, I really wanted to be able to articulate why what we were doing, or what I was doing, was important. Now, it's not to like ostracize or alienate any particular race. It's just to like really understand the facts, and certainly what pertains to us in the UK about race in Britain. And she just wrote it, and she narrated it as well. I did the audiobook, but she narrated it so beautifully. She articulated her point so beautifully, and it's just such an approachable book. Now, bear in mind that my product is available for Black and mixed ethnicity people, and the plan is for it to grow and to reflect all hues, all ethnic, diverse babies, families, etc. So my purpose isn't to like say, oh, you know, one race is good and one race is bad. It's just to highlight the beauty, and certainly the beauty in our race in particular, or ethnic minorities in particular. But that book for me just really helped to crystallize some of the challenges that we do face as an ethnic minority in this country, and understand how to talk to people about how we work together to, you know, circumnavigate some of those issues. So that would probably be the third one that I would recommend.
And that book is a really great book as well, because I've read into it a little bit and just waiting to get my hands on it. But yeah, no, that's a really good book, and I'll definitely check out the other two suggestions.
Yeah, how I built this is a great one. Like while you're cooking, you can just put your earphones in and listen to it on your journey into and out of work when you've got downtime. How I built this in particular is just, they're lovely, like chunky, you know, bite-sized chunks that you can listen to. Very funny, very engaging. Guy Raz is amazing. He's a great host, and all of his guests are just fantastic as well.
Thank you to you, Deborah. Honestly, it's been amazing to talk to you about your journey, and we pray that God gives you so much more growth and continued success and blessings in your business and family. For joining. We'll definitely have to do this again when all this pandemic is over.
Oh, absolutely! Look,
stage.
Yes,
for sure. We can
complete with some jollof rice, maybe some super malts.
Definitely.
Yes, it's a must. Oh, I've really enjoyed this. This has been so fun. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.